If you were told that planes disappear in the Bermuda Triangle because of magnetic anomalies, you were lied to. So you wouldn't look any deeper. The truth? Earth is controlled through an artificial geometric grid, and beneath the waters of Bermuda, an interdimensional technology left behind by Thoth is still spinning. We are trapped inside a simulation, and the deadline is running out now. Let's be honest for a second. How many times have you heard that story about magnetic anomalies or methane gas bubbles that supposedly swallow ships? It sounds like a tired excuse pulled straight from school textbooks, designed to stop us from asking the questions that truly matter. The truth is far wilder than that, and it forces us to turn the clock back roughly 13,000 years, to a time when Earth looked nothing like the version presented to us in history books. Think of Atlantis not as a mythical city, but as a hyper-advanced global technological hub. Its people were not living in caves. They were working with what we would now call sacred geometry and advanced quantum physics. But everything collapsed for a reason the textbooks conceal. An interplanetary conflict left an active scar beneath the waters of the Atlantic Ocean. It all began when a faction of beings from Mars arrived on Earth. They came from a civilization that had already destroyed its own planet through technology that had spiraled out of control. They wanted to conquer Atlantis through force and mental domination, bringing with them a technology based entirely on cold logic, stripped of any spiritual or emotional connection. The conflict that followed, known in esoteric records as the Martian War, completely destabilized Earth's energetic matrix. In a desperate attempt to gain absolute control and create an artificial timeline, the Martians tried to construct a synthetic Merkaba, a geometric vehicle powered by light and distorted energy. A real Merkaba is a living field generated by consciousness and love. The one they created was mechanical, a massive device designed to bend space and time according to their will. But their calculations were wrong. Instead of controlling the planet, the structure spiraled out of control, causing the collapse of Earth's tectonic and energetic grid. This was the true cause of the fall of Atlantis. The continent sank, but that artificial geometric engine was not destroyed. It crashed onto the ocean floor, directly beneath the region we now call the Bermuda Triangle. And here is the truly fascinating part, the part that makes you seriously question what is happening there. That geometric engine is still operating. From time to time, at specific intervals, the two tetrahedrons of this underwater Merkaba begin rotating in opposite directions at faster than light speeds. When this happens, it does not merely create a vortex in the water. It creates a dimensional vortex. A gateway opens, tearing through the three-dimensional space-time continuum in which we live. Ships and airplanes passing through the area at that exact moment do not sink or explode. They are simply pulled beyond our three-dimensional matrix, transferred onto different frequencies or alternate timelines. That is why rescue teams never find oil slicks, wreckage, or bodies. Because within our reality, they no longer exist. We are essentially living beside an active extraterrestrial technology operating on the ocean floor, and we have no way to shut it down. And this is only the first piece of a much larger puzzle, one that leads us directly to Egypt, to a spacecraft hidden beneath the paws of the Sphinx, and to the real reason the moon is completely hollow inside. So we have this quantum engine inherited from Atlantis, trapped beneath the Bermuda Triangle. But the logical question you need to ask yourself is this: why does any of this matter to you, the person watching this screen in 2026? It matters because the collapse that happened 13,000 years ago was not merely a geographical catastrophe. It triggered a brutal cosmic timer, a spiritual countdown that established a strict deadline for the evolution of human consciousness. To understand the sheer absurdity and magnitude of our current situation, we need to view Earth as a living organism moving through fixed cosmic cycles. Every 13,000 years, Earth's axis aligns in a specific way with the center of our galaxy, causing a radical shift in frequency, a moment of cosmic upgrade. For 13 millennia, humanity has been kept in a state of induced amnesia, a kind of spiritual quarantine in which we descended from godlike beings capable of manipulating matter into survivors fighting over limited resources. In esoteric schools, this interval is known as the transitional period toward Christ consciousness. This has nothing to do with institutionalized religion. It represents reaching a higher state of consciousness in which you realize that everything in the universe is interconnected. And the shocking news is that the deadline for this quarantine is expiring right before our eyes. Imagine that the mind of every person on the planet is connected to one enormous global Wi-Fi router. This is Earth's consciousness network. When Atlantis sank, this network was severely damaged by the artificial Martian technology beneath the Bermuda Triangle. From that moment onward, we could no longer access the cosmic internet at full speed. We were disconnected from our intuition, telepathic abilities, and immortality. We were thrown into a world of duality, good versus evil, fear versus love. The global elites and the entities that have controlled humanity's destiny from the shadows know exactly when this 13,000-year cycle ends. They know that once cosmic energy strikes the planet at the end of the cycle, the network will repair itself, and people will begin to awaken spontaneously. That is why we see so much manipulation today, with fear being distributed on a massive scale through the media and technologies designed to keep us trapped in lower vibrations. It is a desperate attempt to prevent humanity from reaching the critical mass required for the evolutionary leap. Because if enough people awaken and reclaim their ancestral memory, the old system of control will collapse like a house of cards. And this is where the most spectacular phenomenon ever documented enters the story. A hidden law of nature that will send chills down your spine. The 100th monkey effect. In the 1950s, scientists studied a colony of monkeys on an isolated island in Japan. They gave them sweet potatoes covered in sand. At first, the monkeys refused to eat them because they were dirty. Then one young monkey had a flash of genius and washed her potato in the river. Afterward, she showed the others how to do it. The truly shocking phenomenon appeared when a critical mass was reached, symbolically, the 100th monkey. The moment that final monkey on the island learned to wash its potato, monkeys on neighboring islands, which had never had any physical or visual contact with the original colony, suddenly began washing their potatoes at the same time. How was this possible? Through the morphogenetic field, through the invisible network of consciousness shared by the entire species. This experiment suggests that not all 8 billion people on Earth need to become gurus or experience a spiritual awakening in order to change the world. We only need that 100th monkey. We need a small critical mass, a tiny percentage of people willing to raise their frequency, reject fear, and activate their personal Merkaba field. The moment that exact threshold is reached, the information will spread instantly through the collective subconscious of all humanity. The awakening will become viral and unstoppable. Everyone will begin to see the truth behind the illusion without needing an explanation, experiencing it simply as an inner revelation. And this leap is not some myth belonging to the future. It is the invisible battle taking place right now, a battle that has left behind enormous physical clues inside the oldest monuments on the planet. Because the architect from Atlantis, who witnessed the catastrophe in the Bermuda Triangle, immediately traveled to Egypt to leave behind a rescue anchor. His name was Thoth, and what he buried beneath the Sphinx is far more than a simple archaeological legend. After the synthetic engine beneath the Bermuda Triangle shattered Earth's matrix and sank Atlantis, the planet was spiritually dying. Humanity had entered the state of total amnesia we discussed earlier. But the collapse did not take everyone by surprise. Thoth, one of Atlantis' greatest spiritual masters and engineers, later known to the Egyptians as the god of wisdom, understood that our species needed a lifeline, a way to repair the global energy network before the 13,000-year cycle came to an end. So Thoth and his team traveled to what they believed was the most tectonically and energetically stable location on the planet, the land we now call Egypt. They did not go there to build tombs for pharaohs using chisels and hammers. They went there to construct the greatest quantum stabilization system on Earth, the Great Pyramid of Giza. Let's look at the Great Pyramid without the filters of official history. No mummy has ever been found inside it. No funerary texts. Nothing. Why? Because it was not a tomb, but a gigantic harmonic resonator. Thoth designed the pyramid using precise mathematical equations based on the golden ratio, phi, aligning it perfectly with Orion's belt and Earth's magnetic grid. But the central component of this machine was the golden capstone, the pyramid's apex. It was a massive piece made from a special alloy of pure gold and crystals with piezoelectric properties. This capstone functioned as a cosmic transmitter and receiver. The pyramid collected Earth's telluric energy, amplified it through the internal geometry of its granite galleries, and projected it through the apex directly into the ionosphere, recharging the planet's consciousness network. And beneath it, in what esoteric traditions call the Hall of Records, Thoth stored the emerald tablets and all the knowledge of Atlantis. This place is a forbidden physical and etheric library, hidden deep beneath the Giza Plateau, and protected by energy fields that our current technology is only beginning to detect as seismic anomalies. But hold on, because we are now entering the most closely guarded secret of modern Egyptology. According to ancient esoteric texts and transmissions preserved by mystery schools, beneath the paws of the Sphinx, there are not merely papyri or gold. There is an ancient spacecraft, a hyper-advanced craft, dozens of meters long, left behind by Thoth and the Atlanteans as the planet's final safety measure. This vessel does not run on fossil fuel or nuclear propulsion. It is a quantum craft, a physical extension of a living Merkaba. Its hull is made of an intelligent memory metal that does not rust or degrade. The most fascinating detail? The craft has no levers, buttons, or control screens. It was designed to be piloted exclusively through consciousness and pure emotion. Its engine activates only when a pilot with an extremely high spiritual frequency connects their own Merkaba field to the heart of the ship. It is said that the armies of major world powers discovered this cavity through three-dimensional scans conducted by military satellites over recent decades. But they encountered one frustrating problem. They cannot open it, and they cannot use it. The technology is vibrationally locked. No matter how much money they spend or how many soldiers they send, the craft remains dormant until humanity reaches the critical mass we discussed in the previous chapter. It is a planetary protection weapon, ready to activate only when the global geometric network has been fully restored. And if you believe this battle for control of Atlantean technology belongs only to ancient history, you are gravely mistaken. The conflict has moved into the modern era. Behind closed doors in 1989, a massive cosmic geopolitical event took place. It changed the rules of the game on Earth and forced certain extraterrestrial entities to leave the planet in a hurry. Up to this point, we have talked about the distant past. But now, let's make a huge leap through time and move much closer to our own era. More precisely, to the year 1989. For history textbooks, 1989 was the year the Berlin Wall fell and the communist bloc collapsed. But behind the diplomatic curtain, at the level of shadow governments, a far more massive event was unfolding: a cosmic purge. The year 1989 marked the moment when a certain faction of extraterrestrial entities, popularly known as the Greys, was forced to leave Earth and abandon its underground bases. Why did this happen at that exact time? Because Earth's frequency had already begun to rise as we moved closer to the end of the 13,000-year cycle. These Greys operated on an extremely low vibration based on control, fear, and genetic manipulation, an approach very similar to that of the Martians in Atlantis. As the global energy grid began to change, the planet's vibrational atmosphere simply became toxic to them. They could no longer remain here without destroying their own biological and technological structure. They were evacuated by galactic monitoring forces, but they left behind a deeply traumatized and confused humanity, trapped inside a psychological prison that we are only now beginning to decode. To understand why these entities wanted to control us for so long, you must understand the human being's secret weapon, something that no artificial intelligence or purely mechanical civilization possesses: our emotional architecture. However, there is a massive confusion here that the system programmed us to make: the confusion between emotions and feelings. Emotions are biological, primitive, low-frequency reactions. Fear, anger, panic, jealousy. All of these are triggered by the reptilian brain and are, in fact, energetic fuel. The entities that controlled us literally fed on this energy. Feelings, on the other hand, originate directly from the intelligence of the heart. Unconditional love, compassion, gratitude. These are not mere chemical reactions, but high mathematical frequencies. The human heart generates an electromagnetic field 5,000 times stronger than that of the brain. When you shift from a state of chaotic emotion to a state of pure feeling, you are no longer a victim of the matrix. You become an energy transmitter that repairs the grid around you. And now we return exactly where we started in the first chapter, closing a perfect circle. What, in fact, is this Merkaba we have kept talking about? Translated from Hebrew and ancient Egyptian, Merkaba means Mer-Ka and Ba. In profound mystical traditions, it is known as the chariot of the soul. The Merkaba is not a piece of alien metal that you only find at the bottom of the sea in Bermuda. That was merely a faulty mechanical replica. The true Merkaba is a geometric field of light that every one of us possesses in a latent state around the physical body. It is an interdimensional structure composed of two interlocking tetrahedrons that can rotate in opposite directions only when your mind and heart function in perfect harmony, guided by higher feelings. When you activate your own Merkaba, your body becomes immune to external energetic manipulations. It is your personal vehicle of ascension and quantum protection. This is the great synthesis of our time. The realization that the external technology we seek in Bermuda or beneath the Sphinx is only a mirror of the spiritual technology we carry within ourselves. We are in the full process of unifying matter with spirit. But this awakening does not occur in isolation on Earth. Our entire solar system is participating in this upgrade. And our largest satellite plays a much more sinister and artificial role than you were told in school. For if you want to understand who has monitored this entire 13,000-year quarantine, we must raise our gaze to the sky, towards the moon, a structure about which modern physics refuses to tell the truth. The fact that it is completely hollow on the inside and mathematically engineered to control our evolution. We began this journey in the depths of the Bermuda Triangle, passed through secret chambers in Egypt, and decoded the energetic field of the human heart. But to understand the big picture, we must lift our gaze. Let's look at the only celestial object that watches over us each night, but about which official science refuses to tell us the complete truth: the moon. If you dig into the archives of forbidden astronomy and analyze the seismic data collected even by the Apollo missions, you discover a disturbing hypothesis. The moon is not a natural satellite formed by cosmic coincidences. It is an artificial structure, a massive outpost, completely hollow on the inside, placed in a perfectly circular orbit, almost impossible in nature, with the precise purpose of functioning as a gravitational and electromagnetic regulator for the biological experiment called humanity. In 1969, when the landing module's controlled crashed onto the lunar surface, NASA seismographs recorded something that shocked researchers. The moon rang like a bell for more than 3 hours. This only happens with an object having a massive metal shell, hollow inside. But now the circle closes. The quarantine is nearing its end. The 13,000-year deadline we spoke of is being fulfilled before our eyes. All physical indications, from the geometric Merkaba engine activated in Bermuda, the spacecraft ready to start beneath the Sphinx, to the mathematical resonance of the moon, show us that the containment system is failing. The artificial matrix based on induced fear is losing its power because Earth is regaining its original frequency. The true battle is not fought in the sky or in the ocean depths, but within you. Every decision to choose pure feeling over low-frequency emotion, every moment you refuse manipulation through panic, brings you closer to activating your own Merkaba. We are that 100th monkey. We are the generation that will witness the final repair of the global consciousness network and the evolutionary leap that the ancient masters wrote about on the emerald tablets. Forbidden history becomes present, and the future depends only on the frequency you choose to live on. Leave me your opinion in the comments. Do you believe we are about to awaken critical mass, or do you believe the secrets from Bermuda will remain hidden forever? Don't forget to subscribe and activate notifications. See you in the next rabbit hole.